Action.
Going places? Go DeSoto. It's a smart way to go places. Everything you see, everything you touch is new.
Cut. Print it.
Fine, Rock.
This is a smart-looking automobile.
Sure is. But that's only the beginning. Take a look at this, Charlie. It's DeSoto's new sports swivel seat. You just sit down, swing in, swing out, and stand up.
Say, that's a smart idea.
And listen to this. This DeSoto's really built solid.
Sounds like a bank vault.
And wait till you see how it performs. I took it out on the back lot this morning, and you should feel the way it took the bumps. It seemed to float over that rough road. And with the new Adventurer engine, you go places. It's sensational.
Sounds like a great car, Rock.
It is great. Drive the all-new DeSoto for $19.59. Smart way to go places.
Hi, folks. I'm Anthony, Two Guys a Ride. Today, Rob and I are here at the Iola Car Show in Iola, Wisconsin, and we're here with our good friend, Randy. Randy, thanks for having us again.
Thank you for having me.
I'm surprised you haven't banned us yet.
I'm still having fun.
All right. Tell us what we have behind us.
This is a 1959 DeSoto Adventurer convertible.
Now, you're well known for having letter cars,
Yes.
which were Chrysler, and DeSoto was a division of Chrysler.
That's right.
So can you briefly explain all the different divisions there? Because I think you had the Imperial at the top.
Yes, the hierarchy was this with the Chrysler Corporation. The very top, most luxurious car was Imperial, and it competed pretty well directly with Cadillac. Then the next step down in the hierarchy would be Chrysler itself, the Chrysler brand.
Okay.
And that was also a pretty high-end automobile that I'd say competed with, Buick.
Okay.
And then the next step down was DeSoto. The next step down from that was Dodge, and the entry level, the economy price range was Plymouth.
Okay. So you always have a little story about how you find your cars. So how did you find this one?
Well, this one happened to be on auction right in my own state of Minnesota, in Winona, Minnesota. And a friend of mine told me about this auction. He said, you ought to look at the cars on there because you might find one that's interesting. So I did, and I found this car listed, and I thought, well, and so I filled out an application to be a bidder, and then promptly forgot all about it. And my friend called me then the morning of the auction, and he said, are you going to bid in that car? And I said, I don't even remember what car you're talking about. I didn't remember a thing about it. And so I said, I don't know, I'll take a look. And so I got it back on my computer, and there was like 6 little pictures of it. And I thought, but that's a car I've always wanted. And so just make a long story short, I got in the mood and I started bidding, and pretty soon I owned it.
So it was a car that you had actually wanted for a while.
Yeah, it was on my bucket list. I've been kind of looking for one for about 15 years.
Okay.
Truly, in my heart of hearts, I wanted a black one. They only made this particular car in white and gold or black and gold. And I wanted a black one, but this one was close to home. It was easy for me to buy. I got it relatively inexpensively compared to what they normally go for. And it's really a very nice car, and I'm very happy with it.
It's in a, what would you call it, like a stage 2 level?
I would call it I'd call it a number 2 car. I think that's fair.
Okay. So really, it's got a lot of work done on it. It's got little things here and there that you're nitpicking at.
Yeah.
And going after.
Because I'm picky about every little guy.
Right, but that's all your cars, right? And that's why they're so great.
Yeah.
Okay. Why was this on your bucket list?
Just because I thought it was so beautiful. I saw one about 15 years ago. It happened to be black and gold. And when I saw it, I just couldn't even believe it. I thought, that is the most beautiful car. And I thought, I got to get one of those someday. And I just didn't realize that they originally only made 97 of these convertibles. And
that's what you wanted, was a convertible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a hardtop of the same car as well, but they made a whopping 500 of those.
So this was
pretty common stuff.
Well, that's not very common either, but 97 is even less.
Teasing.
The
I've been told by the DeSoto Club that there's just about 15 of these left nowadays. So
Okay.
they're pretty hard to find and pretty hard to buy. So
I can see why you fell in love with the looks of this car.
yeah.
And it would look straight back. I love the metalwork going down the trim.
Yeah, that engine turned gold, isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
That is just beautiful.
and that upholstery
Oh,
is the thing that really got me was the upholstery. It's got those gold threads in it. And then if you notice the carpet, and this carpet is exactly correct, just as the factory put in with the gold sparkles. And you can see how it ties in with the seat upholstery.
My grandfather had some Pontiacs that had the gold flake and something. I can't remember if the seats or the carpet, but that's got a lot more in it.
It's really something, yeah.
But it is incredible. Now, you've got a push-button transmission.
Of course, yeah.
And then the gauges, of course, you just got a speedometer. You've got first one on the left is a fuel gauge, right?
Yes.
Amp, just a warning lamp. I think it says amp, so it must just come on when you're
Idiot light, yeah.
Yep. And then you got your clock, and then oil, and then engine temp.
Yeah.
I like how it's got the clear face and just the orange gauges. I mean, it's just it's nicely laid out.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to the left of the steering wheel, you've got 3 rotary dials. What are they?
Well, that would be one of them is the windshield wipers.
Okay.
One of them is the headlights, and one of them is the panel lights. In other words, the dash lights, just to brighten and dim them.
Okay, and then on the far right, you've got that's just climate.
Radio, yeah, and climate stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the far right, after the ignition, you have got, well, what do we call that? A Conrad radio?
Well, it's an AM radio, but if you remember back in the day, back in the late 50s and early 60s, the Cold War era, they in every car was installed, and if you can see that radio clearly, there's a little circle with a little triangle in it.
There's 2 of them, yeah.
That was part of what was known as the Conrad system, or it was civil defense. So in the event of a nuclear emergency, a war, a holocaust, we were instructed as kids to tune our radio to one of those little triangle stations, and then you would receive instructions on what to do to keep yourself safe, where to go, and like that. It's a different era back there.
Different, yeah. But it's fun. I mean, it was so real, and it lasted for long enough that they actually put it in cars.
It was years. It was about, I can't remember, but I think it was about 55 or thereabouts to about the early 60s sometimes, when they finally stopped doing that. But, as a kid, I remember having nuclear drills in
hiding
school.
under the desk,
duck and cover, they called it.
And that's where you went under the desk, right? Like that's going to protect you.
Cover your head and get under the desk. Yeah, that's going to save your life or something. He had no chance.
So he didn't see what was coming.
Yeah.
Okay, on the floor you've got 2 push buttons.
This is kind of neat. Yeah. Let me show you here. There's 2 buttons on the floor. By the way, this is 6-way power seat with swivels.
Oh, this one swivels too. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Now, on the floor, there is 2 buttons.
I'm assuming one's for brights.
The one on the left is to brighten dim the headlights.
Okay.
And the one just a little bit to the right is a button that when you push that, the radio dial is motor, and it turns and it finds a station, and then it stops on that station. So when you're driving, you don't have to fiddle around.
It's like a tuning button.
Yeah, it's automatic tuning.
Automatic tuning. You just press a button, and it actually spins.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, that is just too cool.
It's cool. Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah.
Man, that is wow. Because I think Chrysler had it. Some Chryslers had that same feature back in this era.
Yeah, I have a '57 Chrysler 300C that has the same feature in it. So, and I don't know how many they put in, but I suspect quite a few.
Man,
automatic tune.
I love that. You don't think of that because it was a physical rotary dial. You don't think of automatic tuning until we had digital radios.
But I've used it, and it's really handy because you don't have to take your eyes off the road, and you don't have to look at the radio and do all this nonsense.
You just hit the button.
Touch the button, and it finds a station. And if you don't like it, touch the button again. It'll find the next one.
I love that. I
Really
absolutely
cool.
love that. Now you got okay. So the passenger side obviously swivels as well.
Swivel,
The
yeah.
seat,
Yeah.
and then you got a dashboard mounted rear view mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. In the back, boy, I mean, did you do any restoration to this?
I haven't. I've only owned this car for about a month, so my knowledge about it is a little bit limited.
But this man, this was really in nice shape.
Yeah, it's in great shape. It came from Sweden, so I bought it from a Swedish fellow.
Sweden.
Yeah, it was shipped here for auction, and so I bought it from a Swedish fellow that restored it, and he restored it probably. I'm gonna guess it looks to me like maybe 20 years ago. I would judge by the thing by just the way it looks.
Okay.
And it's obviously been driven, and he drove it and enjoyed it and had fun with it, but yeah, it's fairly loaded car. It has power windows, like I say, the power seats. Power seats are interesting.
Yeah, they're
because only the driver can control it, and if you notice, as the driver goes, the passenger goes
so
too.
it treats it like a bench.
Passenger doesn't get a choice. They go whichever way the driver decides.
It's the driver's the only one that's really important then,
That's
right?
right, yeah.
Right. So, little humor on the side.
Yeah.
You bought it from Sweden. It was imported from Sweden.
Yes.
The area that you're currently parked in here at the car show is called
Finland.
So you bought a Swedish car in Finland, or you brought it to
I
Finland?
display it in Finland.
So,
Which makes
so
no
it was
sense.
exported to the United States to be sold, and then you had to re-export it to Finland to show it
Yeah.
at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite.
I think that's funny.
Yeah, it
If
is.
it matters, I'm half Danish.
that makes it even better. All right, so step into the very back. I love how this machine park just gets widened out.
Yeah.
I love that look. You know, you see that on some of the what do you call them?
Chevy Impalas.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes, on the
some
Impalas,
Chevys had
but
that
the
engine
people that
turn,
do
yeah. It's just beautiful.
what did Mikey do? What's his car called? It's not a rat rod. Where he customizes and lowers it, and he has.
Resto mod?
That's completely different than machine turning. That's edge.
Okay.
That's lowrider.
Lowrider, but it looks.
Because he had a 64 Impala.
Yeah.
It had the machine turning on it.
Okay, let's just ignore that.
I like these ribs on the deck lid,
I do too.
Aren't they beautiful? Yeah.
It's reminiscent, of a smaller convertible. This thing's huge. I mean, you see it like on MGs.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that Swedes knew what ribs were.
The other thing I really
I'm a
like.
Southern boy, I like ribs.
I call this the Tower of Tail Lights.
I love
You gotta
that.
love the 3 tail lights.
Yes,
They're
and I
just
love it that it goes,
fantastic.
up and down.
Yeah.
It kind of go up.
Yeah.
I also love all the machine turning between the upper and lower bumpers.
Yeah.
Man, I'd hate to be hit by one of these.
Don't say that.
This
Don't say like that. We don't get hit.
you don't get hit. Man, those are solid bumpers. Oof. So all of this was pretty much in this shape.
Yes. Now, I haven't done anything to it other than kind of polish it with my rag, but I haven't done anything. Yeah.
Man.
It's just.
So what's the plan for this down the road?
Well, I'm not real sure yet. I haven't owned it long enough, but for now I'm just driving it around. You know, it starts and runs and drives just perfectly. And it's smooth and it's quiet and it's just everything you would want it to be. So to me, and it's not a perfect, flawless car, so I feel okay to just drive it around and enjoy it and have fun with it for now. Maybe I'll restore it all the way to the nth one day, but that's years away, so we'll just see.
Has Rusty Mike seen this one yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least if he has to work on this one, it's in a little better condition than some of the other cars you started him off on, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's walk up here. And we'll wrap
look at
up.
the engine.
Yep. We'll go up here and.
Are you going to wrap up?
In a minute, we'll talk about the engine quick.
Go ahead.
All right, so what does this have for an engine?
This one happens to have a 383 with 2 4-barrels. Now, since this is one step down from the top of the line Chrysler,
Yep.
it got the 383 rather than the 413. So,
Okay.
but it got 2 4-barrels, and as I recall, I think they called it 350 horse, whereas the 413 was 375. So, yeah.
So this actually had more horsepower.
No, it's just a little bit less.
This is it's 313. Okay,
Just a little smaller
we'll edit
engine.
that out.
It still goes real fast.
But it does. I mean, even for a car this size, I mean, I had one with a 4-barrel, and when you stepped on it, it went. But you could also watch the gas gauge just go.
Yeah.
Passes everything but a
And those 4-barrels make a loud roar, and it's really cool. But you can see that the engine shows that it's been driven.
It does, but it's
a little bit
extremely
dirty.
clean.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's clearly. So that's why I'm just guessing it to be around a 20-ish year old restoration, and I'd say he drove it reasonably frequently, and
He used it.
he used it.
Well,
and
it keeps
enjoyed
in good shape.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is just awesome. All right, we can close that back up again. Unless there's something else you want to say about it.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
That kind of summarizes it.
I'll ask you if you have a favorite memory on it yet. So far.
Well, not other than my story about how I bought it.
We'll just say that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So I always like to ask if you have a favorite memory.
Well, just in the way that I bought it, I sat there and I had forgot about the auction, and my friend called me about 2 hours before the auction started, and he said, "Are you going to bid in that car?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't think so. I got things to do today." And then I got it up on the internet, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll just put one bid on, and then I kind of started getting into it.
One thing led to
And then there
another.
was another bid. Well, I'll try one more and one more and one more. And then I was in it, and I'm like, I'm in this so deep now, why would I quit? My mama didn't raise no quitter. And so I just kept going, and yeah, till he dropped the hammer, and he said, sold to the internet, And Sally was sitting there with me, and she was reading a book or something. She didn't even know I was doing it. And I said, "Hey, Sal, look at the TV. You see that car?" And she goes, "Did you buy that?" And I go, "Just finished." I said, "So we got to go to Winona on Monday and pick it up." So
At least this one was close, right?
yeah, it was close. It's about a 3-hour drive. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what also tempted me. It's close to home, and yeah. So what the heck, yeah.
Yeah, you go in one day and get back again.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, as usual, thank you so much for spending your time with us, telling the story of your car.
Thank you, Nate.
We appreciate it. And thanks for watching.
The 1959 DeSoto.
It's so beautiful.
Finest car I've seen. It's smart.
Oh, no, you can't fit in there.
What do you mean? This DeSoto is built for people. Look.
Plenty of room up here, too. This would be a joy to drive.
Of course, DeSoto 59 gives you people-sized roominess and fashion Vogue trim. Drive the 59 DeSoto, the smart way to go places.